In the heart of West Africa, a name once echoed through the streets of Bamako, sparking both fear and admiration: Traore. The world was shocked when, in 1968, a young army lieutenant named Moussa Traoré seized power in Mali, toppling President Modibo Keïta in a bloodless coup. Mali, at that time, was barely 8 years into independence, still fragile and searching for identity. No one expected the quiet soldier to rise overnight and change the course of African history. At first, many believed Traore was a savior. Keïta's socialist policies had left Mali in economic hardship, and people welcomed the change. Traore promised stability, growth, and a return to order. To a country weary of uncertainty, he appeared as the man who would lead them into a new era. But as history often reminds us, power reveals true character, and the young soldier's leadership soon turned into iron-fisted rule. For 22 years, Traore ruled Mali with absolute authority. Elections became meaningless rituals, opposition voices were silenced, and critics were thrown in jail. To the outside world, he presented himself as a firm but necessary hand guiding Mali through turbulent times. Inside the country, however, whispers of discontent grew louder. The promises of prosperity never arrived. Instead, poverty deepened, corruption spread, and the weight of dictatorship pressed heavily on ordinary Malians. Yet, what shocked the world most was not just the longevity of his rule, but the dramatic way it all came crashing down. By the late 1980s, cracks in his empire were impossible to hide. Students led protests in the streets, demanding democracy and freedom. Workers joined, tired of empty promises. The government responded with violence, but instead of silencing the people, it ignited a fire that could not be put out. The streets of Bamako turned into battlegrounds of chants, banners, and defiance. In March 1991, the turning point arrived. Soldiers who once swore loyalty to Traore now turned their weapons against him. The same army that had lifted him to power was the one that dragged him down. He was arrested, humiliated, and paraded before the nation he had ruled with fear. The man who shocked the world with his sudden rise now shocked them again with his spectacular fall. From head of state to prisoner, his downfall symbolized the unstoppable power of the people against tyranny. Mali's streets erupted in celebration. For the first time in decades, citizens tasted the promise of democracy. The world looked on in awe as an African nation overthrew a long-standing dictatorship, not through foreign intervention, but through the courage of its own people. Traore's fall became a turning point in African history, a signal that no ruler, no matter how strong, could suppress the voice of the people forever. In the years that followed, Mali experienced both progress and setbacks, but the legacy of 1991 remains unforgettable.